Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better at Work. Hey, guess what? I'm back with my lovely friend Annette. Hi, Annette.
Hi, Cathal.
Welcome back to Listeners' Questions episodes. Hey, Annette, guess what? We've been getting such good feedback on these. People are liking the separate episodes. So I've had a lot of messages. Thank you to everyone that's enjoying the new format. And I think because we're a bit more relaxed in this chat, Annette, and we have a little bit more time than when we used to do it the old style, because it's usually like, we got to get this done in 10 minutes. Quick! Hurry, Annette.
Yeah.
Hurry, Cathal.
Yeah, I've had the
Anyway,
same,
Annette.
Cathal, people liking the new format.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
not really lovely to hear. So, Annette, you must be very excited there because your prodigal son has returned.
Yes, Finn is home after 3 months off backpacking, seeing the world, and it's just lovely, lovely to have him home. That Finn-sized hole in my heart is now filled. I'm a very happy, happy mama to have him home. It's lovely. And hearing all the stories. I thought it's going to go on for a few more days. He's done some amazing things.
Oh, it was so great to see him. Actually, he popped into our house here when he was on in London last week. So it was lovely to see him. You should be so proud of it. He's such a great young man, and was very engaging with our little kids and everything. So it was lovely. And he had never met Oren, of course. He's met Ayla
No,
lots of
yeah,
times, but he'd never
yeah.
met Oren. So that was really
He had
lovely.
a lovely time. He had a lovely time. Yeah, I think he's a big Ayla fan now, Cathal.
Well, yeah, I know
Mm,
she was
mm,
asking him
mm.
what is his favorite color, etc.
Yes, he
So
said
yeah,
she's very sensitive and asked
mm,
him what was his favorite color. He loved
yeah,
it. Yeah.
she was
Mm,
listening
mm.
intently when he was giving his travel updates. So yeah, loved it, loved it. I'm so glad you have him back. And Annette, on my side, it's been a crazy few weeks, as you
You've
know,
been doing a lot of
because
really interesting things and meeting
really
amazing
brilliant.
people.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I was at Thinkers 50 last week, 2 days. Really excellent. Met some great people, great connections. The theme was all about regenerative leadership. It was really interesting. Really great talks. I met Amy Gallo there, Tasha Urek, lots of new people. Oh, and I met Sarah Ellis for the first time from Squiggly Careers, and she was just lovely as well. Honestly, the people were brilliant. And then, speaking of Sarah, I was at a one of their events yesterday, Squiggly Careers. Well, it was their Lead Learn Live. I hope I've got that right, but it was brilliant. And because they've got a new book out as well called Learn Like a Lobster. And honestly, Annette, they had a brilliant day yesterday in London at BAFTA, where lots of us that were there, I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was just a day of great learning, listening to people. There was a brilliant lady on talking about doing tiny experiments. Um, she was brilliant. We'll share more on that in the coming weeks. And they even had a DJ there who was showing you how to take the skills of being like a DJ, and use those skills in your presentations. Oh my God, Annette, it was so good. She was talking about how you got to hook the audience in, play a track. Like she played tracks to kind of represent a great evening or a great night and music or disco, whatever you want to call it, rave, I don't know. Uh, but how you take the lessons from that and put them into your presentation. Oh my God, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. You can hear probably how excited I was from the day.
Oh, I wish I'd been there, Cathal, and all these people that you've met and
Oh,
I've from our talk before, just I've got a list of new books to find.
well, yeah. And I mean, the DJ one was just so
Yes.
interesting. I was really impressed. I've like got all of her notes. I actually wrote a lot of notes about it. And her name was Kit. She was brilliant. And she talked about hooks, remixes, dynamics, and how the first few seconds of a DJ, on stage, it's everything. And it's the same with you, with your presentation. And you have about 10 seconds to get them to buy into you. So that very opening of any presentation is critical, right? Like, the stat you share, maybe the story you share, that is when you hook them in. And I just honestly, I'm not even doing it justice.
Oh,
I'll,
Greg McEwen, Essentialism. I really want to find out more.
yes, there was a
Yeah,
discussion. Yeah, we talked about him. Look, great day, really, really good.
yeah.
So
Really
I'll
inspiring
share.
and
Very inspiring,
Mm.
but I'll share more on that in the coming weeks. I think I've got to just digest it all. There was so much great content and great people. Met lovely people from Lego to Kerry Group in Ireland and just really great people, someone from Tesco. And these are all people running kind of learning and development programs and culture change programs in massive organizations. Met quite a few people from Heineken, I think it was as well. And just interesting to see all these different brands that have got the same challenges that a lot of companies have, which is, trying to get your staff engaged or have great leaders or, the normal challenges that you and
Yeah.
I know
Mm.
that organizations have. So it was great to be with that lovely community. And can I just say, Helen and Sarah are the loveliest two women. They share so much. They want to create a community. They want to have new people join the community.
Yeah.
I have felt so welcome, Annette, since moving back to the
Mm.
UK by Helen and Sarah. And, they are so successful. The millions of downloads for their podcast, Squiggly Career. I mean, and they have all this success, but and what was inspiring actually yesterday was to hear them talk about when they first started doing these sessions in London. Like it was a dinner and it was like 5 or 6 people around a table,
Yeah.
and they didn't have many listeners to their podcast at that point. And now where they are, but they still keep the values of helping connect people, helping people to learn. Brilliant. They're very inspiring
Generosity,
women, those two women.
generosity, and then with flows from that
Uh,
reciprocity as everyone wants to help and help
Absolutely,
each other.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, now on to us helping people. Um, I was really keen, as you know, to get Julianne Miles on to talk about careers and returning to your career after a break. And if you haven't listened already, everyone, do go listen to the main episode I put out last week with Julianne. And it's on YouTube as well. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Annette, wasn't she brilliant?
Cathal, I really enjoyed that conversation you had with Julianne. So much of it, I know this, but it's concepts that work, concepts that we know, but in a different context, and the pieces of the puzzle all joined together. So the first takeaway for me, Cathal, is one that we know for career returners. It's not the whole story, but it's a big part of it is around confidence, getting into that mindset and that state of being of confidence, and the ways that Julianne explained there and that you touched on as well around reflecting on when things have been going well for you, when you've been successful, the things that you've done, and understanding the strengths that you have that
Mm,
contributed there. And the other side of that, Cathal, remember when we had Dr. Ian Robinson on about confidence and that definition, it came back to me, the definition of confidence is the absence of anxiety. So when
yes.
reflect on what you've achieved, what you've been able to do, and that understanding of yourself and being in that place, that is an absence of anxiety, and from that, the momentum starts, and you can be
Mm,
in that place of calm. So I think that all stacked up for me as a number one takeaway, and I've experienced it myself. Having had 3 career breaks, two with actually, yeah, 3 career breaks and one mini one. So with my, 2 parental leaves, and then between 2 big corporate roles, and then a sort of a 6-month break as well, that you do build up that anxiety about how am I going to get back into this. So I feel really prepared now, and really also inspired with that advice, that we know how important confidence is for being at work, and also how important it is for returning to work, and the tips for how to get there. The second one for me, Cathal, was the really practical one from Julianne, which was when you're returning to work and you've got that role, set yourself up well, make space for work. So it might be that the pottery on the wheel on a Tuesday night at 5:30 is no longer going to be a thing. Make that space for work, and part of that is also around those systems around what's going to have to change about meal planning, online shopping, carpooling and sharing, getting kids to activities, all that practical stuff that you set yourself up well by making some of those things easier and taking out some of those stresses and obstacles. So very practical one from Julianne.
I
And
loved
then,
that one too, and it just to chime
yeah,
in there because we have a new nanny here, Sarah, who's brilliant, and she has her own little. I think he might be 13 months old, 14 months old, Arthur, and her husband, and she wants to go back to work, and she talks a lot about the processes and the, setting up like, the weekly shop, getting it all done so that she could come back to work or start a job again
yeah,
after having a baby. And what I loved as well, she talked about how her husband drops little Arthur down to nursery because she has to drive here to our house, and how, he got a little seat on the back of the bike so that he could drop him down and then go straight on and cycle to the station. And it is all those little things that you just
yeah,
have to think through so that it is less stressful, so that if you're back in a job, you're not worrying about, oh God, we don't have enough food in the house tonight. And then that makes you maybe not concentrate on your job as much because you're like going, oh, I've got to focus on that. And, and so I loved your second point there. And I loved what Julianne said about it, that, it is a shift and you have to think about it. What was your third takeaway?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Cathal. And Cathal, then my third takeaway was towards the end of the conversation, and it was that knowing that you're going to get to that space where you're going to say, I'm so happy to be back, and that it could take a while to get there, and allowing life to happen and having that, I suppose, that ease that, it might not work, it might not be quite right, and you can start again, but you've got there, you've got going the momentum. So, and it reminded me of, I know I've talked about some really rewarding experience that I had working through 3 rounds of this with Juno Consulting, who are a Melbourne-based organisation. I think they work around Australia, where they work with corporates, so that people who might work in a large organisation go through some assessments and some training to become a mentor for someone who has been out of the workforce, unemployed for a long time, and wanting to get off the Centrelink and back into paid work. And from all of their clients, and a lot of research over a lot of people, they've found that people who are returning to work after a big break, it's on average about 12 weeks before people reach that, I'm so happy to be back. This is really good for me. This is working for me. And that's because of, overcoming, the stress and the change and the effort and the that lack of confidence. So I think that really resonated. That's a fact base. It's going to take a while before you'll be in that I'm so happy to be back phase. And then, so that's my third takeaway about it's going to take a while, but you will get to that happy space. And then that one other thing that reminded me of Juno Consulting and your conversation with Julianne, Cathal, was around the home CEO. And that
Oh my God.
in Juno Consulting, what they had found working with thousands of people, that often those who struggled the most to get jobs or settle in jobs were people who had been running a household, home CEOs, often mums, predominantly mums, who then going back into the workforce, they're not the CEO anymore. They're not calling the shots. They're not in charge of how things are going to run fully, and that moving back into more of a team member and maybe a hierarchy, that's a big shift. And even in interviewing, that can be a challenge. So there's that that shift around what you've been doing to what you want to do, and what that might mean, and how you approach interviews, and then those work trial programs that Julianne mentioned as well.
Yeah, that's a one that I've heard a lot about, and I've experienced. It had a few women in particular who've come
Mm,
to me and found the struggle going back to having to
mm,
report to someone,
yeah.
having to, compromise,
Mm,
etc. Where they're probably, it's
mm,
hard, I suppose, right? You're
mm,
used to maybe running the house, and it's busy as well. It's
mm.
not like it's not a busy job, but you're used to telling people what to do, the kids, etc. So yeah, I've definitely seen that and had a few people talk to me about it. Annette, I thank you. Those takeaways were brilliant. And the book, for anyone that hasn't listened to the main episode, Return Journey: How to Get Back to Work and Thrive After a Career Break, Julianne Miles. Check it out. And the other thing that her and her team do great is these returner programs, where they're working with lots of organizations to help bring talent back into the workspace. And they almost do it in it. I don't know if you heard it on the main episode, a bit like a grad program for
Yes, yeah.
people who are coming back into the workplace, which is
Mm.
great because it gives them that support structure.
Well,
And
yeah, so that there's a framework, a structure, a scaffold
exactly.
to make that return more successful. And Cathal, I love when you and Julianne were talking about career comebacks, and how a lot of people often go on Strictly Come Dancing if they're
Oh, God.
and so
I
if you
listened
can't
back
get
to
on,
that this morning. I thought,
if
I don't know if that was
Strictly
very relevant.
I loved it. If Strictly Come Dancing is not going to get you back, if they're not an option to get you back into career, Julianne's book is your next option.
Well, the
I
Strictly
know.
Come Dancing thing is that I was just very fascinated by just this, this whole Louise Redknapp thing, which, she's the wife of, he was quite a big professional footballer, and then went into punditry on TV, and just that she wrote. Going on that show kind of reignited a spark in her to go, hey, you know what? I'm still here. I'm still seen. If you're in that main child caring role, and the partner is out building their career, etc., you could see why someone might feel like, oh, I've been left behind,
Yeah.
and then I have this moment on television and I'm
Yeah.
back. But as I
Mm.
said on the episode, most of our listeners are probably not going to have that opportunity with the Strictly Come Dancing to come back to.
Did you see this week about Prince William coming on to wish?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so
Someone
he's
mentioned
gone.
it.
He's gone on to give best wishes to Steve Irwin's son,
Ah,
who's on
yes.
for
Dancing with the Stars in the
Dancing with the
US. Yeah.
Stars, yeah, and to wish him well for his upcoming
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Well,
dance
maybe our
numbers.
listeners are going to be
Yeah,
like, going,
he'll
okay,
get
now
cheered
I'm
on
not
by
inspired because, I
cheered on
can't
by
get on
Prince
Strictly
William.
Come Dancing and I'm not getting Prince William messages. Listen, for
Mm,
anyone that
mm,
is in that space of going, okay, I want to get back into work, etc. Here's the thing. We have a lot of resources to help you as well, right? We have so much stuff on the website, on our LinkedIn, etc. And this episode's a great starter. And plus, Annette, um, revealing a little bit too much here too soon, but we're going to say at the end, we have another episode coming up next week with Carly Lyon, where she's like fantastic on personal branding. So I think the two episodes complement each other in a way, because you've got Julianne thinking through, okay, what kind of work is going to work for you, really asking those questions. Where do you need to build your confidence? What systems, process do you need to have in place? Because it is a process. And then next week's episode with Carly will really give people a lot of insights into what is their personal brand. So I think, for anyone that's returning, this is a great time. And it's a good time to be doing it now, Annette. It's like November, probably people are coming into that Christmas period. They're kind of busy with getting ready for that. But then come the new year, it'd be good to have that little goal to go, okay, you know what? This is the year I want to go back
yeah.
to work. Or And as Julianne said, it's not like that. If you make the decision to go, well,
Mm.
next year's not the year. I still have a care
Yeah.
duty within my home. That's fine too. I loved what Julianne said. I was just listening to her a minute ago, where she said, caretaking is an important role in society. It's a very important role.
And I think that when you're in the depths of it, it's easy to lose sight of
Totally.
how important that is, and you can't get that back.
You can't get it back.
Yeah.
You can't get it back. It's
Yeah.
interesting because even a friend of mine in Australia, Johnny, Johnny Kern, he was texting me over the last few days and saying, the kids grow up so quickly. And like, I
Yeah.
remember their kids, like it feels like yesterday they were born. And he was like going, Finn is about to become a teenager. And he's like going, you really do have to enjoy those younger years because
Yeah.
they just go so, so quickly. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed our chat with Julianne, and thank you, Annette, for the lovely takeaways. Now, you're taking over this next part of the show, aren't you?
Cathal, we have had a lot of requests for, can we ask you some of your questions? People want to know more. So can I kick off with a few questions for you, Cathal?
Go for it, Annette. I can't wait. Wait till we see what these are going to
Okay.
be.
This is your first question that you ask all of our guests. Cathal, how did this
Oh,
all start for you? How did Better at Work start for you? What was it in your childhood, your career that led you to, I'm going to found and build Better at Work?
I think the big thing for me was that I found when I went into the world of work, a lot of people are looking for guidance. Honestly,
Yeah.
that was it. Like I found in the 20 years, so many people just wanted some help. And I think that is really where Better at Work started. How could I help people navigate what sometimes can seem as
Mm.
boring daily challenges? How could I help people with that, right? How could I help
Yeah.
them when they've got a bad boss? How could I help them run a better meeting? How could I help them pull together, a great team? All of that kind of stuff. And that was really where it started from. And as you know, Annette, I did always want to be a radio DJ. So I thought, guess what? I could help people and also get my, I suppose, 12-year-old dream of being a radio DJ. So that's where it came from. Better at
It's a
work, trying to
combo.
help people.
Mm.
And it's a combo.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I could be a DJ. You know, the way I'm here now talking to this
Yeah.
microphone? I'm like going, hi,
With
Annette,
those
welcome to
great
the show.
headphones. Yeah.
With the headphones,
Mm.
exactly. But
Mm.
no, that's really
Mm.
where it started
Yeah.
from. And honestly, you know me, Annette, I just do like to help people. I don't know. I don't like to see people not enjoying their job, because
Yeah.
if you don't enjoy your job, it impacts your
Mm.
life. I've said that a
Yeah.
million times, and it happened to me. I've
Mm.
had periods where I didn't enjoy my job and it really impacted my life. I
Yeah.
became a recluse in some ways because I just really was like, oh my God, I really don't like the job. And if the job is your identity and
Yeah.
you then don't like it, that's a double whammy. So, how could I help people make sure they have more good days at work
Mm.
than bad days at work?
Yeah. So leading on from that, Cathal, can you talk a little bit more about your vision for Better at Work?
I think it's very simple. Our vision is give people really bite-sized learnings from some of the world's leading experts on work, psychologists, behavioral scientists, and try and connect the dots for our listeners and the people that follow us and the community we've got. Because there is so much great insights, research out there. But sometimes, Annette, I don't think it gets to like
Yeah.
everyday people. They don't read those books, they don't listen to those authors, etc. Now I do, and you do. So I
Yeah.
think my vision has always been, we love it,
Mm.
and we've been in the world of work. We can connect it for people and go, hey, when you've got that situation where your boss is blah, guess what? That's probably this. Let me talk to this person, and then
Yeah.
we'll give you some insights so that
Mm.
you can have a better day at work tomorrow, and you don't have to do all the work of reading the book, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We'll try and give you the insights in a kind of concise, practical way. That's the vision. That's the vision. And then everything else, kind of the podcast sits in the middle
Yeah.
and kind of everything else then feeds off that. Like you coming on the show, helping me digest it, giving the takeaways. That people like that, right? It's really, again, part of the vision. Give people insights that they can use, and actually maybe bring a bit of fun to it as well, Annette.
Yeah.
Like we're not like,
Mm.
I'm not a journalist, you're not a journalist. We've been in the world of work, share some of our own experiences, and just kind of create this community of people who go, you know what, those two are on my side. Like
Yeah.
they get
Mm.
it. We may not get everything, like, but we've been around the world of work for, well, you're 20 years, I'm 20 years. So what, 40 years?
At least, Cathal, can I
At
say at
least.
least? And I think that, yeah, that not journalists. So in the conversations that you have with our guests who are experts in their fields and recognized, it's not investigative journalism. It's
No.
it's really a learning conversation. You're often learning
Ah,
and asking questions and helping further understand from our guests what,
totally,
yeah,
totally. And I mean, the
their
vision is
expertise.
just,
Yeah.
look, and Annette,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
always say one big vision is if one person even listens to the
Yeah.
show or reads
Mm.
some content we put out and it helps them have a better day, I
Yeah.
mean, that's brilliant, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We we've had so many messages over the years from people who go, that really helped me. I was going into a
Yeah.
meeting I was super
Mm.
nervous about. That was really
Mm.
useful. I needed that. It gave me
Yeah.
a structure. Sometimes part of our vision is just to give people a starting point so
Yeah.
that we can go, here is an example of what you could do.
Mm.
I had someone message me the other day after listening to that episode with Zach Mercurio on mattering. And this lady said that she felt like we were talking to her.
Yeah.
She felt she had
Mm.
never mattered at work. And it was really, she was emotional, but she said it was really helpful. And she thought, okay, I'm going to read the book. I'm going to do the things that Annette and Carl said
Mm.
to really kind of think about what can I do differently so that I do feel like I matter at work. And sometimes some of our listeners do tell us they've left their job because of what they've heard on the show.
Yeah.
Or
Mm.
in other cases, they haven't left their job, but they are different. They're going to
Yeah.
deal with it differently. You know the way we always say in it, there's three kind of phases, me, we, ways. We always say you got to work on yourself because it's going to be, there's a lot of work you have to do on yourself. You've got to be self-aware. The we is you're more likely than most going to have to work. Sorry, you're more likely in most workplaces to have to work with other people. So how do we work together? How do I interact with other people? And ways of working. How do we give people simple,
Yeah.
practical ways of working? How do you run a great meeting? How do you give feedback to people? All of those things
Mm.
that just matter at work so that it is an easier day for you. It's a better day for you because then, hopefully it's a better evening for you because you're not at home ruminating about the day and stressing and going, oh God, this is coming up tomorrow.
And I think, Cathal, that when you're in it, sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees and you're
Exactly.
stuck. And
Yeah.
it's a go-to place for sort of the hacks on certain subjects to get to, okay, well, what can I try quickly? Who are my top 2 or 3 experts? What are some framing? And I think about our purpose there is that we've talked often about ourselves and other people we care about when you see when work isn't good, what that can do to a
Yes.
person and how you can see people change. You go, okay, they're not themselves. They're really not
Absolutely.
themselves. And it's work. And that's like our purpose and what motivates us is that because our insight is when work is better, life is better. There's a rare person who's having a terrible time at work and is happy outside of work. They are the unicorns. We know that if we can help people with making work better, it's going to flow into their lives, and that's what gets us here into better at work, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely,
mm,
absolutely. And the thing is, like,
mm,
people invest so
mm,
much time in
yeah,
personal trainers to
mm,
help them look better.
yeah,
Um, I suppose we are a bit like the coaches to help you have a better day at
Yeah.
work, right? Because, how many people have a
Mm.
personal trainer or someone telling them you should be
Mm.
eating this, you need to do
Mm.
10,000 steps, you need to do blah. What about in the world of work?
Yeah.
What do you need to do? Set your intention going into a meeting. Think about how you can, do this presentation
Mm.
to the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
All of these things, this is
Mm.
all little tweaks, things you can do so that you can have a good day at work. And that'll make you feel great as well.
Yeah.
Because I find, Annette, when people feel like they've had a good day at work, they feel great. They
And it's
feel good.
contagious. It's contagious.
Yes.
If you're having a good day at work, that it's more likely that people around you are going to be having a better day at work as well. And so, Carl, that leads me into my final question for you, and that is, what's your ambition for Better at Work? What do you see ahead for us and for our listeners, and for we're building a community like
Yeah.
Helen and Sarah, our Better at Work community.
Well, they are inspiring,
Mm.
actually, Helen and Sarah, when you see what they've done. I mean, for me, the vision and for us really is to just continue to help more people have a
Yeah,
better day at work, right? It's as
yeah,
simple as that. Um,
mm,
we're probably not looking to have 3 million people listen to the show, right? It's more about, do we have a community of people
yeah,
who feel supported? Probably
mm,
part of the ambition would be lovely to bring the community
yeah,
together at some point. We'd love to do that because we know we have listeners from all over the place, and it'd
yeah,
be great to do something like that. I think also part of the vision is to potentially take our learnings in it and what we've learned through all of these amazing chats with these fantastic people, and turn it into really digestible learning content for our
yeah,
listeners as well. That's certainly part of the vision. We've started to do that already with Better Careers. We have plans to do more. Like, my vision is really,
yeah,
I think leadership level in companies is critical. As you know, Annette, that's been my kind of wheelhouse for a few years.
yeah,
And I'd love to build out brilliant leadership programs so that we can just have more good leaders in the world, like particularly in the world of work. I can't do anything about, probably can't really do anything about the world of politics, but certainly in the world of work, how can we have more better leaders? Because I think what I've discovered, and I'm sure you will have your own thoughts on this, but most people experience work through who their leader is.
yes,
And then
yeah,
most people
mm,
experience the culture through who their leader is. So if we could do more in that space, that would be part of my vision for Better at Work, because it
yeah,
takes what we've learned. And
mm,
also, even the listeners' questions that we get, most of them have some link to the boss, or the
yeah,
boss didn't really guide me,
mm,
or and it puts a lot of pressure on this middle manager level.
yeah.
So how can we help them more? How can we give them learnings and content and stuff that they can do tomorrow at work to make their life better, but also the people that work for them better?
And when people come to Better at Work, as well as our podcast content, we've got these on the shelf solutions that go deeper on those topics of career change, leadership,
Yes,
strategy development, team culture.
exactly.
Love it. Love it.
Exactly. So that's where we're going, Annette.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. I mean, and of course, you are such an important part of it all as well. I just love that we're on this little journey together, and it's just so exciting. It's so exciting and actually inspiring for you and me as well.
Me too, Cathal. Like I said this on a few episodes ago, what I've learned through Better at Work, through our guests, through your conversations, through the reading and our discussions. I'm a different person.
Mm.
I've learned so much, and yeah, really energized about what we've got ahead. More to
I'm so
do.
excited. I'm
Mm,
excited for the year ahead.
mm,
I think it's going to be brilliant. So, and thank you to all of our
yeah.
listeners who listen religiously. We've got some who are just brilliant and always listen, always give lovely feedback, and tell us as
Angela
well.
Collins, David
Angela
Munro.
Collins, David Munro, all of these people, just really
Mm,
great, great supporters of us. So
mm.
thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
That's
Angela and
it,
David.
Annette.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them to send you some listeners'
Yes,
questions?
yes.
You and me,
So,
some listeners' questions?
hey everyone. If you have a career dilemma or a friend who has a career dilemma and you'd like us to tackle that in a future listeners' question episode, head to betteratwork.net and send us a note. We'd love to help.
And of course, don't forget, Better at Work is now on YouTube. You can watch the full video conversations on our channel, or you can keep listening wherever you get your podcast. So we're slowly growing there in it. It's a slow burn with the old YouTube, but your lovely nephew Harrison has told us, keep going. It just, you've got to start somewhere with YouTube. So we're starting. So guys, if you want to have a look, it looks really good actually. And we've got some more in-studio recordings coming as well. So I'm excited for people to see those. Now, next week, we have got an incredible guest on, Carly Lyon. Carly is someone I've known for quite a long time, and she is a personal branding expert. She is brilliant, and she's got a new book out, which we're going to be talking about on the episode next week. So that will be out next Thursday. Check it out. I can't wait for you to hear that one. Annette, I am so glad that you've got your son back and
I'm
that
a happy mama.
you're a happy mama down there in Melbourne. Thank you so much for joining me as always on Question Time, our separate little episode. This has been Better at Work. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. I know, Annette, you want to remind them to what? Subscribe? Tell them.
And remember to hit follow or subscribe to get a notification of when episodes of Better at Work are available to watch or to listen.
Thank you, Annette. You see, she's getting good at this
I
co-hosting
am.
duties. I
I'm
tell
getting
you. She's going
practice.
to take
And all
over. You're going to be doing the main
our,
episode soon,
and
Annette.
our amazing coaching from Phoebe and from
Yes, thank you,
Harrison.
Phoebe.
We got a great team with us. Hey, thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and thanks so much, Cathal. Wonderful way to spend a Melbourne evening.
It was really good fun. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you. I'll see you next week with Carly, and Annette will be back with me in 2 weeks for Question Time. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye, Cathal.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye, Annette.